Welcome to the What Moves Her podcast. Today we have an incredible guest and a very dear friend. Today we have Judy Zeder. Judy has built one of the most influential real estate legacies in Miami. She has transformed a move from Michigan into a decades-long career defined by record-breaking sales, deep community service, and a reputation for integrity and insight. Today, she is part of the Jills Zeder Group alongside her family. This is a powerhouse partnership responsible for $8 billion in sales as part of Coldwell Banker Realty, and she's getting consistent national recognition as one of the top real estate teams in the country. And beyond these numbers, Judy is a steward of Miami itself. She educates clients, she supports local causes, and shaping the city's future with the same passion she brings to every single deal. Judy, you're a dear friend. I could not be more excited to have you on the show. Welcome to the What Moves Her podcast.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. It's really an honor and a privilege to do this. And it's one of the great things about real estate. We've become friends.
Yes.
Without this, I wouldn't be sitting here with two people that not only do I know and work with, but they're friends. And I think that's one of the greatest gifts you can get, right? Friends and
Absolutely.
Friends and family. So
absolutely, Judy. Thank you so much for being here. And, you know, your career is just, and the things you've accomplished are just remarkable. And you've done that in one of the most competitive markets, really in the entire country, perhaps globally sometimes, right? So when you look back, is there a time, a decision, something that you can look at that sort of accelerated or changed the trajectory of, you know, your career?
So I think there are two really fundamental things that changed the trajectory of my career. The first one, of course, was when my son Nathan, 21 years ago, decided to come and work with me. And then later, my daughter Kara. And then lastly was my daughter-in-law Meredith, not married to Nathan, but married to the son that is not in real estate, came to work with us. That was very impactful. But the last decision I made, which I think is the greatest decision we've made, is when we joined the Jills, which is the Jill Hertzberg family and the Jill Eber family. But in joining those teams and looking back, especially with the Hertzbergs, with two children of her own in the business, and to see my children and her children, who are our partners and our friends and part of our family, work together, and to know that these kids, and they're not kids, they're young adults, are in their own right leaders and champions and rainmakers. And to hear them and work with them, I think is one of the greatest blessings that my career has given me and has put us on a path that I think is not only for us for the future, but for them. And it's been a remarkable change and a remarkable blessing.
Well, I was just going to say what a blessing, right, Lindsay? I mean, as moms and business women, I think, you know, when you can bring those two together, just tremendous. And that's so much a part of our industry, right? The family, the relationships, as we started out saying, right, Lindsay?
Yeah, you have the most beautiful family, truly. And I had the pleasure of joining you recently, actually, in Miami at your home. And it's funny, I see you as this incredible businesswoman, and I see you as a mom, but I'm in your home and I'm like, God, she's a grandmother too. And I see these family pictures and like, it's just so incredible what you've built with the people around you. And it's so cool to see you guys show up at an event and how the families interact, and just it's so real. You know, I think some businesses kind of put on a front, it's a family business, but you truly are so unified, so respectful to each other. And I genuinely think that success is just, it makes sense. When you're part of your family dynamic, you get it, because you guys just represent all the good in life, and the support is just beautiful. So I think it's amazing to watch, and anyone that's around you feels that energy. It's so contagious to be around. So, okay. So obviously being part of the family business changed your trajectory. Now today you are undisputed dominant force in Miami luxury. What do you think are some of the early strategic bets that you made that still guide how you operate today?
So very, very early on in my career and watching how other agents operated, I really thought about, and I've worked with this with my children and our whole family, our team. I believe in long-term relationships and short-term gains. And so what does that mean as a person and as an agent? I think so often people get caught up in the deal and what's the deal? And if I close this deal, how am I, where am I going to shop? What am I going to get? What's going to be the end game? We've never looked at real estate that way. I raised my two kids, my daughter-in-law, how we work is we say, it's all about long-term relationships. And if you can build a long-term relationship and forget about your commission, if you work for your buyer, if you work for your seller, and they know that the most important thing that is going on in this transaction is their happiness, their success, that it's the right buy, that if they need to sell it, you're going to be able to sell it. The gains come, but the gains might not be in that single transaction. The gains will be because you built a relationship that will cause other relationships to happen and further relationships from there. And I think it keeps one thing in place. Your reputation is the only thing in life you have. And if you lose that reputation, it's very hard to repair it. And that's the one focus I've always remained solid. And it's helped my career and it's helped my children.
I think that is such fabulous sort of foundational element to building a business and a successful one. And commonality, I think, Judy, when we talk to agents and business people who have been successful year after year after year, it doesn't come easy, but that foundation of trust and really looking out for the people that you're engaging with, right? I mean, this is not every deal is going to close either, right? And so there's also the fact of, you're in this, it's not transactional, right? It truly is relational, and it's so important. And I think it's what is kept, women and leaders like you just continually paving the way for others too, is because you don't lose sight of that, and it's not transactional.
No, it's really, I think if you can hold on to that, and if there's advice you give to young agents and to people you're working with, it's always the same thing. It's a long-term relationship. That's what you want to have, and it's your reputation. And you need to really make sure that that's always intact.
So, expectations from all individuals are pretty high, as they should be when doing a real estate transaction. In luxury, they're kind of uncompromising, right? It really is, and we've seen that over the years. You certainly see it, a different level of expectation. And so part of that stems from what I would think of as like operational excellence. Right. And so what does that look like day to day with you, with your team, how you run your business? How do you think about operational excellence to not falter on that uncompromising expectation of your clients?
So I think you always have to, so we rely on each other a lot. And we have a philosophy of, like I've always gone back to and say, WIN, win, right? So what does win mean? Win isn't always being number one. Win isn't always being the first person at the finish line. I'm very competitive. All of our teammates are very competitive, are very driven. And we always obviously want to be number one in everything we do. But in order to achieve these goals, in order to say that, you have to sit back and say, how do we work together? How are my ideas different than your ideas? How is my staff's ideas implemented into making us better people? And so I think when we're in the realm that we're in, it's very important to not lose sight of what's important now. It's not always a win.
It's so good.
So good. Now. And what's important now is making sure that you and your partners are aligned in your ethics, that you're aligned in your ability to take challenges, that there's times when things are really great and there's times when things are really bad. And it's okay to be afraid. It's okay to say, listen, I'm not sure I should have done this. Or how do I handle this client who's going crazy on me? How do I get to where it is. It's what's important now. Being there for each other, talking to each other, working with each other. Our team, we talk to each other every single day. I've been on the phone today twice with Danny, once with Meredith, 3 times with Jill Ebert, 4 times with Jill Hertzberg.
God bless you, Judy.
He's picking up. And we're just talking about different deals and businesses and how we're going to get there and what's going on and who's covering this and where are we at. And it's all great. I mean, and there's a time when we're all together. We have 8 partners. There's times we are together and we're each other's partners. There's time when we're friends. There's time when we're lending a shoulder. What's important now? Being there for each other and being there for your clients and being there as a person to know when you have to be strong and when you have to be weak and how you show up. And that's what my philosophy's always been.
You know, Judy, Sue founded What Moves Her 5 years ago. I've been part of the journey officially for probably about 2 years. And there's these moments in time where I feel like there's a little piece of my heart that takes something from each woman. This is going to live in me forever. I think that anyone listening to this podcast can take your win philosophy, make it their own. And I just think it's such an incredible perspective, mantra. And I hope that everybody listening to this is as moved as we probably are listening, because it's just a wonderful philosophy for business and life. So I love that. I'd love to stay in the world of family and trust and partnership. Listen, running a major business with family is rare and it's really high stakes. I'd love to learn from you maybe what surprised you most about building something big together.
So what surprised me most about building something big together was how you handle relationships as a family, because you're a family. You have yourself, you have your children. Everybody has different lives, and there's a lot going on because you're a mother, you're a wife, you're a partner, you're a grandmother, you're a friend. So how do you keep all of that balanced and work well together? For one thing, with working with our family, when I'm in a meeting with my son, he is my partner. When I'm meeting with my daughter-in-law or my daughter, they're my partners. When I'm meeting with Danny and Hillary, they're my partners. When I leave that room and I'm calling them about one of my grandchildren or about something in the family or the father or whatever that is, I'm their mother. I don't want to be their partner at that moment. I want to be their mother. I want to be their grandmother. I want to be their friend. I don't want to be at a lunch and be with a friend and be Judy Zeder Realtor. I want to be Judy Zeder. I'm your friend. I'm your partner. I'm your mother. And they're very different, and it's not always easy to balance that. But when I'm in a meeting, I don't want Nathan calling me mom. I am his mom. I don't want to be a mom. I'm Judy. When I walk out the door, please don't call me Judy. I'm your mom. And I think that that's one of the things that gives me great joy. It sometimes crosses over.
Sure.
But I think if you can do that when you're working with your family, that it makes it easier to be all the things you want to be. I want to be the best realtor in the world, but I want to be the best mom. I want to be the best partner. I want to be the best grandmother. I want to be the best cook. I want to be the best.
And you are, Judy. You
Whatever,
are a phenomenal cook.
I want to be a lot of things. So you have to take that circle and that pie and cut each piece out and know that it's one together, but they're independent alone. And I think if you can do that, you are going to be a great partner and a great mother and a great family person for all these people who want their children to have a legacy on what they built.
That is amazing. And it's so resonating with me, not the cooking, because I cannot. And I when I retire, that's what I'm going to pick up. I'm going to try and take cooking lessons. My daughter said, don't do it anytime soon. But the playing the different roles, right? And I don't work with my family, but sometimes even just going home, and maybe even more so that a lot of us work from home now, not today, but often, like, those boundaries get very blurred for a lot of people. And I have had, the comment from my daughter, who'll probably listen to this. It is like, we don't work for you. Like, in this home, like turn it off, right? So as, maybe we can just dive like one click deeper on that, because I think it's probably something a lot of people struggle with. A lot of people who are broker owners, have their children that may be coming up and taking over. There are these transitions that occur, succession planning, partnership. What principles or boundaries, like, are there any tangible things you can think of that help you manage the pie, so successfully? Because I've seen you with your family, like Lindsay said, and your success is here. The love is there. I'm sure it's not always easy, but are there principles and boundaries that you've set up other than when this door closes, I'm either mom or Judy, depending on what side.
I do notice, by the way, I saw Nathan call you Judy a couple times. I'm like, I wonder if he ever calls her mom. It's so funny that's intentional. It's an intentional.
Well, that's like decision. Are there other things, right?
Well, I think that one of the things I've learned in my career is I'm a little OCD, and I'm very, very, very competitive, and I'm very controlling. I'm an extremely controlling person. I've really had to learn, and it's been a struggle, how do I let go? How do I become a better person because I have better people around me? So that's really saying, I have this great idea. What is your great idea? How can these ideas work together? And that's just with my family. It's also with, as a partnership. The other thing, and we've all said this in our offices, the three families, is you're only as good as the people who surround you. So we have made it, and I say this year, particularly the last couple of years, on our side, we've said, how do we bring in really the best of the best people who help us, work with us? But we don't want to say they work for us, they work with us. They have now become part of our family also. That we have to trust when somebody in our office calls up and says that we can do this and we can do this, and they'll handle it, that they're going to handle it. They're going to handle it how I want it handled. They're going to handle it how Nathan and Meredith want it handled, how Jill and Danny and Haley, whoever they are, that they handle it. And if you can build that trust, it makes the pie easier to cut. And that's what's important. And I'm going to tell you, it's been hard for me, but I feel like I now have people that are in my life that I can count on that make me a better person. Whether it's in the office or even at home. Today I'm having a big Christmas party tomorrow, and I'm like, it's a lot of people, and I just know I could call somebody and say, I need you there. I need you to handle this. And they know how I want things. They know it. And I know when I go home, it's going to be like that. But it took a long time to figure out how it is. So it's letting go. Be confident in your letting go. Don't lose sleep about letting go. And trusting that the people that you're surrounding yourself with have your back and love you as much as you love them.
You have the best people around you. And I see it beyond just your family, the people you do business with, your partners, you can see it. One of the things that I think about when I see you in person, when I see how you do business, is everybody gets the same 24 hours in a day, right? Not everybody spends it the same way. You're a mom, you're a grandmother, you're a spouse, you are leading the #1 real estate team in the nation. And yet you're still deeply involved in Miami's community. And you and I have talked about this a lot, right? Philanthropy and community has built you as the leader you are. What drives that commitment, Judy? And how has it shaped you as a leader?
So I've always been involved in philanthropy since I was young. I mean, when I was, growing up, my dad had met, the candy striper at, the local hospital. And I volunteered in prisons and college, working with people, and did volunteer work with underage kids. So there's a lot of things that I've done in my life. And I've always believed that when you are given so much, that it is critically important to get back. And when I'm saying given so much, it's not just the financial gains that I'm talking about. It's anyone who tells you that life is easy is either lying or stupid. And, life is filled with challenges every single solitary day. So I've been very blessed. I mean, my life is blessed. We've had challenges. Nothing's been 100%. But that gift that I've been given of my life and the beautiful life I've been given has empowered me to say, I need to give back. I need to give back to those who have helped me. I need to give back to the community that has supported me. But giving back means you can't go into philanthropy and say, I'm going to do this because it's going to get me, a deal, or it's going to be this. When I believe in philanthropy, it means that I'm part of that. I'm not part of buying a table. I'm not part of writing a check. If I commit to something, it's Judy Zeder. I show up at my board meetings. I show up at the balls I need to be at. I show up at meetings at the schools. Whatever you're involved in, don't get involved unless it's 100%. I'd raise my children also to say, I don't care what it is, but you need to find a passion. My passion is philanthropy. Everyone needs a passion, but when you do it 100%. And when you do that, it ends up paying back. I sit on 3 boards at one hospital. How has that helped me? I show up at everything, but one of the things that's really helped me with, and in general, is the fact that I get 5 calls a week from someone who's sick, or they cut their hand, or yesterday somebody fell and broke their arm, and the day before someone needed a scan because they found a tumor, and another day there was something else. And the ability, because of who I am and what I've done, to call the hospital and to say, I have a client and they need help. How can you help them? And to get them there, it is great for the hospital because most of those clients that I send over there end up become a part of the Giving Society. One of them is donating a wing to a hospital.
Wow.
Because of what was done. And how does that help me? It means people know that when they call me, that I deliver. And it's not just delivering a house. It's not just delivering something. I will deliver. I will help you in your journey, in this city, in your life, in your home, with your children. I will do whatever it takes. And it's part of the core of who I am. And that has helped me in my career. It's not the reason I do it. I do it because I love it. And I feel that I have to give back because of what I've been given. God has blessed me tremendously in my life.
Definitely an abundance mindset, and I absolutely love that. And I think that when an individual is so able to have that gratefulness for what you have, and it's not the money, the wealth, the material things, it's the life, right? And leverage that, utilize that platform for the betterment of others. I do think there is an abundance mindset. Things do come back, right? There's this sort of karmic thing out there that just allows for that full circle opportunity to make not just your life but others better by giving. And I think it's coming off of Thanksgiving and all, we were talking, Judy, about what we did and spending time with family. It's a perfect time for us to kind of reflect on how much we have just being here, and how to leverage and it's part of, even what moves her. I was very uncomfortable starting it, except I realized I had some sort of platform that I should be grateful for. And I should use my voice to help others elevate others. And it is such a gratifying component of achievement that I think is amazing. But it's been part of your core. I mean, it's definitely who you are. It's not a later in life sort of awareness. It sounds like you've been it's your whole life.
It's a core part of your being. I also think that, philanthropy is a lot of things. It's not always about how much money you give. It's a lot of things. I see sometimes, I think it's amazing. Like you're in, we're all so busy. We all have busy lives. Everybody's on the phone. Everybody's talking. Everybody's doing this. And what about like when you're in a grocery store, or you're in a store, and it's like you're checking out on a line and you watch the cashier and there's been 10 people ahead of you, especially like at Thanksgiving, everybody's on the phone. They just want to get in and get out of there. And not one person has said, how was your day? Having a nice day. Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you for your help. It's also kindness brings kindness. Warmth brings warmth. And that's all also part of just, if you've received a lot, it's a moral obligation to give back, whether it's a friendly conversation or a donation to a major charity, whatever that is. It's a moral obligation, I really believe, to be kind and to give back and to appreciate the gifts that God has given you.
You personify, in my opinion, and Sue can obviously correct me if I'm misspeaking, but I think you are the exact type of woman that Sue imagined giving a platform and a voice to, so that you can inspire and educate not only up and coming women, but just female leaders everywhere. I think anybody that gets time with you is extremely fortunate. Your energy is magnetic. You're an incredibly hard worker. You've earned every inch of your success. When the next generation of female leaders are watching you and your team, what example do you hope that you're setting in business and life for the next generation of women leaders?
Well, I think that, being a woman and being successful, I mean, it's hard. It's hard to achieve that. Not everybody, it's always been a challenge, right? But I also think that as a woman and as a leader, you can't be afraid to also have men that are leaders. And I think that sometimes there's so much push for women to say, I'm successful. That two things I see happening. One is that sometimes there's a lack of empowerment to the woman below them. And you can't do that. You have to be able to teach and guide and educate and show people that it's, again, going back to what's important now. It's about all the things that you do. And what's important now is to always educate, always help, and always try to guide and to be kind to those who aren't as fortunate or don't have as much as you. So when you're looking at women who are coming up, they need to know that as they're coming, they can't be on such a fast journey to be successful themselves that they leave behind the generation after them, or they leave behind those people who are struggling with them. So I think the ability to work with those people is important. I also think that sometimes as a woman, you want to achieve so much that there's men that also need to achieve that are going to be great. I would be really devastated to think that because there's Joe, and myself who have made this wonderful career in our life, is somehow our sons were thought less of. Because they're superstars. They're better than I am. And I see them working with women and empowering them and helping them. So what is it about a woman's career that is just about women? It's about those that are around you, those that are important to you. And whether they're male or female, the more people you empower to be great and kind, the stronger you will be and the stronger the next generation of women will be. Because we can't leave behind the young boys.
As Lindsay, I know you're as a mom of young boys.
Like I have 3 boys. You're speaking to my soul.
And Judy, it is so critical to not lose sight of what you're talking about. And one of our very first guests, or I don't think it was a guest on a podcast. It might have been somebody. I don't even remember when I did this, but it was Alex Perillo, who was one of my mentors coming up. Said genius over gender, and it's always stuck with me, right? Because it truly is, and it's not literal genius, but it is the right person for the right job, regardless of, background, of, everything, gender, all the things. It is the right person. It's almost like the win philosophy, right? What's important now? It's like, who is the right person now for the job. And I think we all have an obligation and an honor, truly the honor of the opportunity to bring others along. Right. And, I just think it's such a tremendous reminder and point that it isn't about the one, it's about the community. And that community is made up of a lot of different people and voices, and they all matter. They all matter.
And we have to always remember that. It's always so important, because the only way you can have great success and to have your legacy as a human is to make the world better. And the world isn't better just with women. The world is better because of women and men and the generation coming to help them.
We are closing on community. We are closing on making the world better. Judy, you make my life better. You make Coldwell Banker better. You make Miami and real estate as a whole better. You're a beautiful woman. You're a powerhouse. We are so incredibly grateful to not only have you as part of this company, but part of this community. I loved every second of this podcast. I'm so incredibly grateful to have you as a guest and a friend. Thank you so much for your time on the What Moves Her podcast today.
So thank you for having me. And I will tell you that I'm very blessed to be with this company. I love Coldwell Banker. I love all of you, everybody I've met. And also just hands down to all of you, because this company, these leaders in the company, you too, everyone there is always there for us. And that's one of the really amazing things I will say, is that if we have any issues, if we have a question, there's somebody there behind us. I always feel protected, and I always feel that there's somebody on my back that's always watching out for us, and so does our team. So thank you. Thank you for having us with you.
Thank you, Judy. You are a true joy and an inspiration. Thank you. And my best to the whole family.
Okay, yes. Great. Thank you. All right. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being on.
Okay.